Candy Corn is a brand new slasher throwback from the director of The Greasy Strangler. That's a film that when you hear it, that's going to immediately spark either complete interest or complete disinterest. That is a very polarizing film. That said, no matter what you thought about that movie, this movie is nothing like that movie. This movie is not weird attempts at humor. I actually really loved The Greasy Strangler. I showed it to my buddy like the next night after I watched it because I just thought it was so outrageous and so bizarre. It worked for me, but man, the people it doesn't work for, which is probably more than half, hate that movie. But the people it does work for, like me, it's a love it or hate it kind of film, and I just had a blast watching it. So the reason that I was even looking forward to this one was because it has one of the best posters of the year. Poster art is a dying art form, and I've said on this channel a million times, if you're a low-budget filmmaker and you want to get eyes on your film, the best thing you can put money into from a promotional marketing standpoint is a poster. Hire a great poster artist. Do whatever you got to do. Get a great poster, man. It's going to get way more attention than pretty much anything else. And that's what this had. I didn't even know the director of Greasy Strangler had any involvement. I didn't know who the hell was in it. I didn't know that it had Courtney Gaines from The Burbs, which is funny because I just watched it for a podcast that didn't happen. Long story, but I still may talk about it soon. I didn't know it had Tony Todd. I didn't know it had PJ Souls. I didn't know it had Ponche Moller from 31, 3 from Hell, American Fright Fest. He's been on a bunch of stuff lately. I didn't know anything about that. I just saw the poster and I was like, oh, cool. This movie currently holds a 3.3 on IMDb. It only has like maybe 200 ratings or a little less than that. So that's not, a very definitive number there, but I was like, wow, 3.3, holy shit. I had already purchased the rental at that point and was watching it. But something under a 4, especially like closer to the bottom of a 3, I usually don't touch with the 10-foot pole. That said, I was like 20 minutes in at that point, and I was like, this movie does not deserve a 3.3. There's no effing way. The film is very well shot. I thought that the acting was mostly good. It can be a little hammy at times. The lead actor from The Greasy Strangler is in here, and he does play a very eccentric, odd character, but nothing like the one in The Greasy Strangler. Nothing anywhere near that eccentric in this film. Courtney Gaines actually plays like the main character. He plays the sheriff of the town. And this thing wears its homages. I mean, there's wearing them on your sleeves, and then there's just some that are just like blatant. Like it says Halloween across the screen. Yeah, and it is straight up the same color, the same font, one of the very similar looking street shots. And I was like, for a sec, I even took a freaking picture of it and put it on my Facebook group. Like, dude, wow, there's homages, and then there's just like blatant rip-offs, but it's an homage. It was just like, it just straight up says Halloween in the font, everything. It's towards the beginning. I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess we're going like that. Okay. I will say this, I wasn't a fan of this film. I think there's a lot of good in it. I think there's a lot of great intentions, and I think that everyone did a good job. It's just that this is a slasher flick, and I found myself bored a lot. I think that they lost focus on the horror. They went a little more for the story, but I didn't really find the story all that interesting. It's essentially it's very Pumpkinhead-ish, even so much so that the killer has a pumpkin for a head. Kind of. You'll see if you watch the movie. Which I actually thought the look of the killer was great. But yeah, kills. I didn't care for any of the kills in the movie. I thought, they cut away from some, and then some of the ones they showed just didn't work for me. It didn't land for me, and I was bummed. I didn't find any of them all that interesting. I didn't think they were all that graphic, and a couple of them were trying for some graphic stuff to them, but just didn't work. Um, and I didn't really care for anybody's character. I didn't find anyone all that funny or all that charming or all that interesting. Like they were trying to get this revenge tale and stuff in here, and it just didn't work. It just, there's a lot of good going on here. I think the score is solid. I think the cinematography is good. I think the actors did well. I think the direction is good. I think that like all the technical boxes are checked, but still it's just overall kind of a boring movie that's mostly uneventful, and I don't really care about anybody. So you can still make a well-made movie and still not be entertaining, and that's just kind of what happened with this movie. It was a bummer because I really wanted to come on here and defend the shit out of it, like a 3.3. Are you kidding me? This movie's great. And you know, I was like, okay, this has promise. This has, it looks great. It's got cool actors. They're trying an actual story here. The movie takes itself very seriously. In fact, maybe a little too serious at times. If you're going to go serious, then you got to nail it. But I'm glad that they did go serious, because I feel like all these 80s throwback, 70s throwback, I feel like this is almost a little more like late 70s throwback, but I feel like a lot of those guys go in more of a hammy direction. They go in the more meta, self-aware, like funny, I'm not taking anything seriously, so, you know, you're not supposed to take the film seriously. It's almost a cop-out of filmmaking, like, you know, it wasn't supposed to be taken seriously, so you just don't get it. Like, I find that to be a cop-out. So in the rare instances where they actually do take themselves seriously, I appreciate it. Something like Ty West's House of the Devil. I think that's the perfect example of a 70s throwback that nails it and does it completely serious throughout the whole time. This one went for a more serious 70s, 80s, debatable throwback there. And it personally just didn't work for me. But no offense to anyone who was working on this, because I think they did a great job. It just, you know, the finished product is all that matters. And for me, the finished product was lackluster and kind of a disappointment. So let me know if you guys watch it. Let me know if you disagree. It's currently like $4 to rent, so it's not all that expensive. I always want to support low budget horror, indie horror like this, and I did. I rented it. I don't torrent shit. But you know, I'm not bummed that I watched it. It's just